Hey guys, how's it going? Michael Troy here. Today we're looking at Crisis on Infinite Earths, first issue spectacular facsimile edition with the holo foil cover. So cool. Very excited to bring this to you guys today. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit that like button and let's get right into it. I'm afraid this holo foil looks much better in person than it does on film, and that looks crazy. But we all know what the cover of Crisis on Infinite Earths looks like, and so I'm so excited that this facsimile edition just came out for many reasons. Just because, you know, it's George Pérez art, and I love it so much. And of course, this is like one of the most important series, and like, I totally loved it as a kid. So here we are. Okay, and the other thing is that they were experimenting with printing and using this flexographic that was supposed to be like this great new printing process on this like Mando paper, and the printing just had so many problems, and the first issue came out with a lot of muddiness, a lot of the blacks looked gray, and George Perez lost his mind. And so I'm happy to see it reprinted the way it was supposed to be printed with no color errors. So here it is, the series that changed DC for better or worse forever. I mean, look at that art. I love Perez so much. I was a Perez clone when I was teaching myself how to draw from comic books, and I just wanted to be Perez, and I loved his Titans so much. And then I was devastated when he was leaving, and thank God we had Crisis, and just such a groundbreaking story. It's so funny. I was just talking to my friend Philip how, like, I think Secret Wars 2 outsold it or something. Marvel always outsells DC, sadly. And I guess it just always will. But, you know, this is like, they put everything into this story, and I don't know. All these years later, I struggle with, like, were we better off with it or not? I don't know. I guess I'll never know the answer to that. You know, there's pros and cons for everything. This art does look so good, printed properly. I love the Crime Syndicate. It is so cool to see them there. Any amalgam or doppelganger of Wonder Woman, one of my, you know, my absolute favorite DC character, of course. And it's weird because, you know, I wasn't the biggest DC fan at the time, so many of these characters that were introduced in Crisis here, I'm seeing for the first time, and I'm falling in love with them, and then they're dying and being wiped out like 2 pages later by antimatter. So it was like kind of crushing for me at the time. I was like, wait, can't I just be a fan of DC for the past 10 years and not lose all this? I don't know. Anyway, Ultraman giving like a very heroic sacrifice or just flying into the void. I don't know. It was kind of all devastating, wasn't it? You know, very sad and like emotional, impactful, like so many things, events, like losing Flash and Supergirl, and like even when Wonder Woman was eroded, like we knew they were coming back, but it was still kind of, I don't know, hard at the same time. Harbinger, a great character designed by Perez, created by Wolfman. The Monitor, secretly watching monitoring the DC universe for months and months. Easter eggs being planted, hints, clues. I mean, I don't even know who else could have drawn this aside from George Perez. I mean, sure, anybody could have drawn it, right? But not with this kind of like, I don't even know. Like this is better than JLA Avengers, isn't it? I mean, I feel like it. I don't know, maybe it's just because, I don't know. Were our comics better to you because of the nostalgia, I think, in a way. Dawnstar. I mean, I've always said, like, George Perez and John Byrne, 2 of my all-time favorites, there just is something special about seeing them draw different characters that they're not normally always associated with. And I don't know, it is just like a thrill. So like to see him draw Dawnstar and like Blue Beetle and like just anyone really. So much happened in this first issue, and like so much happened over the course of 12 issues with like 3 double-sized issues. I mean, they really swung for the fences on this. I mean, this is such an undertaking. I can't even believe this actually happened, honestly. Arian, like a character that I always like love the design. You know, there's, don't you guys have those characters that you kind of just like love the way they look and their aesthetic, and you've kind of always been a fan of them, but you've never necessarily like read their book or collected them? I feel like there's a few of those for me. Like Firestorm is probably one of them. I actually own like, I think 2 issues of Firestorm, but I have to say, like, I've always found him so cool looking and just thought like he was one of the most awesome characters. And oh my god, this is why I love Perez so much. Like, his cityscapes are gorgeous, and this is like a tenth of the page here. Like, that is so crazy for him to give so much, and like, we will never have another Perez again. It still hurts. I hate it thinking about the loss of George Pérez, one of my all-time favorite artists. It's weird. It is like, you do lose a piece of yourself in a way, don't you feel? I always thought that was so fun and clever too. I love it. Like, his storytelling, the way he puts the panels on the page, just his shading, his figures, everything about it is just like amazing. His facial expressions, like, he puts so much emotion, like, you know, especially in a big epic book. I think that's another reason why it's so important to have, or not so important, but why it's such a treat to have such an amazing artist like Perez on something like this, is because everyone, you know, there's so many faces, and he's giving you distinct looks for every single face. Everyone stands a different way, carries themselves a different way, flies a different way. I mean, it is crazy nuts. Like, how did this not retire him? Like, it was, so many artists will never even draw what he drew in this first issue, let alone, I don't know, just like, what a great legacy he left us. God bless you, George Pérez. Rest in peace forever. I love Obsidian. I love this. I was a huge Infinity Inc. fan. They need to come back in a good way. Like, don't you think? Where are my Infinity Inc. fans? You know, in the comments, please leave some love for Infinity Inc. Tell me who's your favorite Infinity Inker. I think mine are the twins. I have a weird twin thing, so. Anyway, I love this last page. Like, his hair is so crazy. Like, what the hell is that hair anyway? Oh my goodness, so good. What a great, great book. I'm going to blind you again with a holofoil cover. I love these facsimile, well, what do they call them? Artifact editions from DC, but basically exact reprints of the book, including like the house ads, other ads, whatever. Anyway, do not hesitate to pick them up. They're always just a fun trip down memory lane. One of the greatest books ever from one of the greatest creative teams ever. Did I even say it? Did I read it? That would be very unlike me to skip over the creative team. Did they even say it? Oh, okay. Written and edited by Marv Wolfman, penciled by George Pérez, inked by Dick Giordano, lettered by John Costanza, colored by Tony Tolan, plot by Wolfman, Ween, and Greenberger. Interesting. So Perez is basically just penciling it, but Perez is such an amazing storyteller. He's putting us all into it, as we see. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit that like button, and I will bring you more soon.